What's up, people? I have a public service announcement for you. Something that a lot of you are going to probably look at me like I'm crazy when I start talking about it. Today is normally dedicated to church. It's a day. Well, it's hot. I'm hot, so forgive the t-shirt. Today is normally a day dedicated to church. It's dedicated to religion. It's dedicated to transformation. And what's going on? Well, it's dedicated to transformation. But I want to give you just a public service announcement, just something I need you guys to hear. There are 3 levels of spirituality. I'm going to leave this on the public. There are 3 levels of spirituality. The key to it is if I concentrate and keep you focused on the lower level of spirituality or the entry level of spirituality, I can control you. There are 3 levels of spirituality. Level number 1 is religion. Religion is the entry level to the spirit. It is the entry level, so you begin to learn things about God. You learn things about who He is. You learn things about what He is. And that level is a level that is created to show you how to reach God in a religious manner. It is not something that's supposed to be consistent. It is not something that you're supposed to use the rest of your life. It is entry level. It's kindergarten. It's preschool. It's 4K. It's to get you into the position where you can know who God is. The second level is Christianity. Now, here's the interesting thing about that. Most people that deal with Christianity believe that Christianity is the lifestyle. Christianity is not the lifestyle. The word Christian means Christ-like, which means you are imitating somebody that you believe is close to what you desire. So it's like a Mercedes-Benz, or it's like a Bentley. It's not a Bentley. It's not a Mercedes-Benz, it's like a Bentley, which means that you are on the second level. And the level of imitation does not mean that you are the thing. Make sense? It doesn't mean that you are the thing. What it means is you are an imitation of the thing. Now, the problem or challenge, the challenge with this is you have the power source of the original, which is spiritual. So when you imitate something that is not the thing, what you find yourself doing is staying lower than the actual power that you should possess. Does that make sense? Now, those of you that are still stuck in religion, your challenge is you never want to stand and face the power. So what you do is you talk about what your bishop said or what your pastor said. You live the fears that are established by the dogma. You live the rules and regulations that are established by the religion. You allow him to tell you when you should preach, when you should not preach. You allow this religion to tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't do. So what happens is you never fulfill the purpose of you coming to church in the first place. So what we do is, because you don't fulfill that place and because you've not got to the level of spirituality, you stay in church hoping to get some type of information that will answer whatever the questions that you have about your spiritual life. Why? Because you haven't been given the opportunity to take responsibility for it. Now, this is the same thing when you have some money. It comes to money and wealth and religion and money, wealth, relationships. All these things are stuck between Christianity and religion, because what religion is the graduation from Christianity. Religion is not Christianity is the graduation from religion. Does that make sense? Now, the reason I say that is because most of us have been in situations where religion has been the end all be all for our lives. We feel like that no matter what goes on in our lives, if we have our church, we're going to be okay. The challenge that happens with that is the church cannot take you to the level that spirituality requires and invites you to. It cannot do it. It is virtually impossible. And why is it virtually impossible? I'm going to give you a secret that none of you have probably heard in a long time. That religion is supposed to speak to a general purpose and not an individual movement. Your church is designed to have general purposes and not individual movement. So what happens is, I'll tell you what we all are going to do. Every New Year, we all fast. So we don't fast through the year. We wait till New Year's and say, oh my God, our church is fasting 40 days. The challenge that happens with that is, how many times have you done 40 days outside of the time the church fasts? Second thing, what if your spirit says, no, this is not a time for 40-day fasting? So what you're told is, you got to be a part of the one. We're one body. Yes, we're one body, but we all don't have the same function. So if you are still talking about how your religion is and if you're still talking about how your church does this and we do this because you want to be a body, the body is not imitating each other. That's not what the body is all about. The body is about being an individual, taking care of what your call or what your position is. Yeah, I know. So if you're not doing your position, guess what? You're not doing the body any good. You're not doing the body any good. So if you're not doing the body any good, talking about how your church does this and how your church does that is not doing anything for your spiritual growth. It simply means, I want to walk as a clone within this religious place, and I want people to know that I am that clone. Religion, lowest level of spirituality. Christianity is a graduation from the next level. It's like going from 3rd grade to 4th grade. In this case, it's like going from elementary school to high school. So most of you that are operating in Christianity and dedicating yourselves to the ethics and the regulations of Christianity are doing it to keep from facing the fact that you are more than this level. You are more than that level. Now, no one's going to tell you this. And the reason they're not going to tell you this is because we didn't learn it. Most of the pastors, that's why I don't get mad at pastors, because most of the pastors did not learn that we are setting up a churn that produces money. People, check this out. Right now, because I don't have a building, if I decided today I was going to start a church and it was going to be on here, here's what will happen. You have been so inundated with the dogma of church. Because I don't have a building, it does not justify me saying, okay, I want you guys to donate to a cause. So what happens is, you've been so inundated with the dogma that when it comes to making sure something is moving, you don't do that. Why? Because they conditioned you where to give your money and how to give your money. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sitting on, oh, shoot. So there's nothing wrong with church. So when I do these teachings, I'm not saying there's something wrong with church. No, by no stretch of the imagination. What I'm saying is something wrong with your perception, because church has changed your perception. Check this out. I have on a tank top. I was sitting out on the porch meditating, and I said, dog, I can't do this because because there's a certain look that every person has been taught about religion. So what happens is, oh my God, y'all not gonna like this, but it's okay. What happens is, religion has done a lot of things to alter your thing. Now, follow me here. Don't jump to conclusions. Religion has made you feel insecure about who you are. In the initial stages, I'm an old Church of God in Christ boy. In the initial stages of Church of God in Christ, I know two people right offhand. I know 2 people right offhand that are probably the best athletes the country would have ever known. They would have been famous. One of them is a tennis pro. She played tennis. She had so many things, so many trophies on her tennis, so many trophies on her mantle for tennis, that she was going to go pro. They would not let her go pro because at the time that she was going pro, you had to wear a mini skirt to play tennis. So they didn't let her play. She is not rich at this moment. She has a pretty good life, but she's not rich at this moment. Second person is a person that plays basketball. Same situation. You had to wear shorts. So what happens is, religion has defined my spirituality by what I wear, which is why I had a problem wearing this shirt. I had a problem wearing this shirt because religion has told me that I have to be a certain way, because what it has done is turned things that are natural into things that are terrible. I'm not revealing anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm simply wearing a tank top. Back in the day, we used to wear tank tops when it was hot outside. And so then somebody, because we addressed it, it turned into something wrong and something nasty. It happens with sex. It happened with relationships. It happened with a number of different things that the perception was changed because of religion. It's like somebody in the kindergarten saying, if you don't know your ABCs, you're not saved. And you go, I know my ABCs. Then they come back and go, you got to know them in French. And they keep you concentrating on ABCs so long that you never learn your numbers, or you never learn algebra. You never go and advance to the next level. And so what I want you guys to do is to begin to look at where you are. Look at where you are. And figure out if you're really in spirituality or you're just still stuck in religion. Figure out if you're still in Christianity or have you gone to be spiritual. And it's okay whatever position you're in. I just want you to know what the positions represent. I just want you to know that you're more than that position. I want you to know that all the things you desire in your life, you can desire. And you can have them. I want you to know that you can have everything that you've ever wanted in your entire life. I want you to know this also. I'm going to do everything in my power to give you all the information necessary so you can live at the level of spiritual. I don't care if you think you're a Hebrew Israelite. I don't think you're Church of God in Christ, the Seventh-day Adventist. I don't care what you are. When you learn to get beyond that, you learn to live a life that you were given to live. Not the life that you were allowed to live, or not the life that you were prescribed to live. The life that you were given to live. I love my life. I love my wife. I love the fact that she walks around sometimes in a t-shirt and some shorts. Because I'm not bound by dogmas of religion. I'm freed by being spiritual. I just need y'all to know that. I need you guys to understand that. I do these. I don't do these for money. I do these because I want to be around free people. I want to be around free people. So I lived in Atlanta and I went to visit this person. This thing kind of blew my mind. I went to live with this. I went to visit a friend of mine that lives in Atlanta or in Georgia. So while I'm talking to this particular friend, she comes to me. She says, "Do you want to have dinner?" I said, "Sure, let's have dinner." So she pulls out the pots and pans and she begins to cook. And she's an excellent cook. An excellent cook. She actually is a Southern girl, real Southern girl. She even has a little bit of a Southern drawl when she talks. You can just tell that she's Southern. And so as she begins to cook, she makes this wonderful meal. She teaches me these lessons of how to keep your salad crispy. And she makes chicken. She does all this in probably about 15 minutes, maybe 20. It's a wonderful meal. And if I was able to, I might even send my wife to meet her. And she sits down. As we sit down, she says, "What would you like to drink?" I said, she said, "I got iced tea." And I said, "I would love some iced tea." And she sweetened iced tea with a little bit of a lemon, not lemonade, but a sweet lemon and a little bit. It was delicious. It was amazing. Let me tell you what, this messed me up. And so when she sat down, I sat down and she sat down and she said, "Well, let's say our grace over the food." I said, "Okay, fine, not a problem." And she begins to pray. And as she begins to pray, she gives a prayer. I actually feel a change in the atmosphere when she prays. It is amazing. I feel a change in the atmosphere. It's almost like something went or like that to you. And so I'm there and it's just a wonderful, and I begin to eat. She said, "Oh, sorry." And she goes in the refrigerator and she pulls out some red wine. She pours a glass of red wine and she looks at me and she goes, would you like would you like a glass of wine? And I said, "No." Now, why do I say no? I say no because my dogma at that time told me that hell was widened for people that drank. There's a passage that actually says that. I said, no. And I'm still kind of looking at her crazy. But I'm also realizing that she has said something and she's done something that actually shifted the spirit around me. And so she notices that I kind of look at her because my face gets blank. And she says, It's the wine, right? I said, well, I don't really drink wine. And she said, there's a passage in the Bible that says a glass of wine is good for the stomach. I said, yeah, it does say that. She says, it's amazing that we'll follow every passage that the Bible says and we'll hold them accountable if they're about prosperity but we never pay attention to what it says. And she says, so when I found that passage, I began to study what it meant. The fermentation in red wine has the ability to clean your blood. So what happens is people say back in the day, well, they didn't have anything but wine. They couldn't have pure water. But then you go back to when Jesus is around and Jesus says they filled buckets of water and he said, take the water and turn it into wine. Religion will have you thinking that it's wrong to drink wine. And at the religious level, it probably is. Christianity will have you thinking that it's wrong to drink wine because it frustrates your spirit and frustrates Jesus. Spirituality will say God will supply to you what is necessary to keep you healthy and alive. And nothing can define it and nothing can alter it but you. I don't drink wine. My wife likes Moscato. When we go out to dinner, she drinks a glass of Moscato. I taste the Moscato because I don't know about wines. She tastes the Moscato. We go to this restaurant one time. And when we go to this restaurant, a friend of ours takes us to this restaurant with this very exclusive private club. And when he takes us to this private club, he begins to say, I'm going to order all your meal. I have your meals already ordered. All you guys have to do is take the meal. I'm going to teach you guys something. Because see, there are so many things that are happening in the spirit that are for your benefit and not for your detriment, that most of you are stuck in the position that you don't want to be because you're stuck in that. So he comes in and he says, so we have lobster and we have all the things that you would consider high-end meals. He comes out and he goes, oh, I brought a bottle of wine. And my wife has always wanted to know about wines. You are so much more than dogmas of religion and so much more than what Christianity says that you are. Now, is there anything wrong with being a Christian? No, that is not what I'm saying. I am not dogging Christianity. I'm not dogging church. What I'm trying to get you to do is understand something that's next level. So he comes out and he pulls out this glass of wine. This bottle of wine. And this bottle of wine, I believe, is 15 years old or 10 years old or 5 years old. I'll say 5. This glass of wine is 5 years old. And he said, have you guys tasted this? And he gave this name of this wine. I said, no, we haven't tasted it. Now, because I was driving, I wasn't going to take a nice swig of the wine. Because I was driving, I was not going to take a nice swig of the wine. But he said, here, Dallas, you need to taste it. So he pours some in the wine. And I get the wine, and I'm watching him look at the wine. He doesn't hold the wine glass like we hold glasses. He holds it from the stem. When he holds it from the stem, he spins it around. I watch this wine show blues and greens and all these different colors in the wine because I'm not a wine person. And so he said, here, you need to taste it. And so as I begin to taste it, the bouquet, which for the first time in my entire life, I understood what the bouquet was. The bouquet was more intoxicating than it cleaned my lungs. I did like this, and I hadn't drank then. I hadn't been drinking a drop. And I watched it go into my lungs because of the alcohol and the fermenting did something to my nasal passages. Then I took a little bit of a sip, and it exploded in my mouth. Now, most of you are going to go try it. But this is not just regular wine. You take and screw the top off and you pull the cork off. This is wine that has been there for years. And I said this, and I said, I don't understand. So I go back to when Jesus was told by Mary to turn the water into wine. And I begin to look at it. And the king said, this wine was the best wine because this wine was aged wine. The better wines are the wines that are aged. He said, this wine is the best wine because this wine was the aged wine. Why? Because anything that is created by God has the maturity of the best and the timing of the same. So that wine let me understand. I understood that scripture. Jesus touched it and said, whatever the best was, that's what this is going to turn into. Whatever the best was, that's what it went from water to the best wine, the aged wine. So that meant before he drank it, the bouquet spoke to him. And that's why it's called spirits. See, you think it's called spirits because you drink it and you get drunk and you get a spirit. No, my love, that's not it. It moves in your body like a spirit. It means it doesn't actually have to touch you. I could have sat there and sniffed the wine, not got drunk, and it would have cleared the nasal passages because of the fermentation of the process. But we will never learn that. Why? Because dogma tells us that wine is bad. Dogma tells us all these different things are bad. It's the same thing with those of you that want money. These things are not bad according to the Spirit. They're bad according to religion and Christianity. My mother said something to me years ago, and I was deep in Christianity, preaching all over the world. And she said, there's a level greater than where you are, baby. I said, no, Mama, you be a Christian. She said, there's a level greater. She said, it doesn't dilute what you're gaining from Christianity. It should help you get out of religion. It doesn't dilute those things. But what it does do is put you in a position where what you desire is free to receive from God. It puts you in a position where what you desire is free to receive from God. I need you to hear this. Everything that you have seen, from the top level of wealth to the lowest level of wealth, was created by God. He used different people to create it, but it was created by God. And so what you have to understand, things were prostituted because once they realized that God had a source and a power source, the key is keep you from ever knowing who you are. I've got to keep you from ever knowing who you are. I got to keep you from ever knowing the truth. If I keep you from ever knowing the truth, I can take advantage of everything that is going on in your life. I put together the retreat. All the things that happened with the retreat, and I'm just going to tell you guys now, all the things that happened with the retreat kind of messed the retreat up. I mean, all kind of junk started happening with the retreat. And I was going to force my way through until the retreat got to be a month out, which meant everybody had to pay for the retreat today. I'm sitting here meditating. I told you the most important thing is meditation and prayer. When you get those two things mastered, that will be the moment that you'll be able to sit anywhere and gather from the atmosphere or gather from the Spirit what you need to do to go to the next level. But until that time, you go through all these different things. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I even heard that there's still those broken parts in you. There's still those broken pieces in you. And the problem that happens is those broken pieces have to be justified because we want to know why the piece is broken, not care about the fact that we can fix it, why the piece is broken. Lady takes $5,000 from us, and I'm so busy wondering why she would do this to me. I never thought about the fact that I can make $5,000. Let me really mess your whole world up. I never thought about the fact, y'all ready for this? I hope you're ready. I never thought about the fact that the same reason I gave her $5,000, I could create the same thing and require less. I could have made the money doing what she promised that she was doing. I could have actually done it. Because you get so caught up in why the pieces are broken that you never actually see what the broken pieces represent. And so what I want you to understand is from this point on, you are better than this position. Do you know why you were released onto this planet? The reason you're released onto this planet is because every place you were supposed to master that place. To the point that place no longer became a draw, or that place no longer became, boy, that sun is really kind of getting to the thing. To the point that place never became a draw, or that place could never weaken you. Well, I'm not at that place yet. Well, you're not at that place because you're trying to live spiritual. It's not because you're a bad person. It's because you're not trying to live spiritual. That's not. I learned this. I purposely did the t-shirt thing. I purposely did that because it was something I was nervous about. I was like, oh my God, I can't get on it. I don't want these people to start thinking. Because what I realized was there's something greater inside of you guys. And if you learn what's greater inside of you guys, you'll learn how to move in a greater position. Why are you where you are? Why are you where you are? And ask yourself this in 3 different ways. Why are you where you are? Why are you there religiously? Why are you there Christian in Christianity? And why are you there spiritually? Have you mastered this place? Are there still things that happen in your life that throw you off, that got you mad, sitting somewhere upset about something? Then you haven't walked in it. You haven't walked in it. Are you still in a place where you go, okay, I need money and I need to figure out how money is getting there? No. There should be a circle around you that says, I'm going to get to this next place no matter what stops me. Why am I not married? You're not married because religion has gotten you so twisted. You think that the man has to come from a specific place. So what you're doing is you're sneaking and getting on websites. Why? Because religion has gotten you at a point of desperation. It hasn't gotten you to the point of strength and liberty. It's gotten you to a point of desperation. You need to hear my wife. I'm gonna one day get her on here and talk. My wife said, I stopped worrying about her husband, told God it's gonna be me and him. She moved from Christianity to spirituality. From that point on, that meant everything that God had for her came. Everything. The moment she did that, a month later, she met me. The moment she did that, she got to a point where she's financially secure. The moment she did that, the dream car came. The moment she did that, that's what I'm trying to teach you guys. And it's hard to teach you because it puts you in the position, whether you want to be in a position. When you learn Christianity, when you learn religion, you're done with it. Once you've learned what religion means, you're done. Once you've learned Christianity, you're done. Because you will never learn more than spirituality. Never. It is too vast. It is too much stuff. It is too much information. I can give you information so you're prepared. I want you to imagine this. Imagine you're sitting someplace and what you have need of meets you where you are instead of you having to go get it. Or imagine going to a place because you were unctioned by your spirit and it's exactly what you need. Living almost what we would call a charmed life. It's not a charmed life. It's going to take work. But the work and the reward will blow your mind. It'll show you some things that you've never seen before. I've denied the ability to do this. I haven't wanted to do it. I've been asked to do television. I've been asked to do radio, blogs, all these different things, and I didn't want to do them. Why? Because I knew how big this challenge would be. Some of my best friends are in ministry. And when I told them some of the things that I've learned directly from God, and I understood now why I didn't get to go through I went through the biblical study, but I never went through the spiritual study of what they talked about when it came to prophets and pastors, evangelists, teachers. And I never went through that process because God needed me to be some different type of person. And I'm that person now. I'm that person. When you understand that process and when you realize that God has something more for you, all that other stuff stops meaning. All that other stuff stops meaning stuff. It stops meaning. It stops. Just wanted to say that. So, I'm going to come up with a class. Well, matter of fact, I have my people working on it right now. I'm going to come up in the class. And in the class, I'm going to come up with how to teach you the 4 lessons, and I've talked about this, the 4 lessons to get you into spirituality. And some of the easiest things that I can tell you about is emotional control. That's big. Emotional control is big. And that's going to be the thing that you have to uproot it. There are the 3 deliverances that have to take place in your life. There's emotional control. Those things are huge. If you get past those things, you pretty much got 75 to 85% of the battle won. And so when you learn those 2 things, and those things, it is difficult. I had to tell my wife the other day, and she didn't like this very much. Whenever she would get angry with me or we'd have some kind of argument, I used that as an opportunity to go do some work and her not bother me. So one day she walked in the office and she's looking at me, and she's looking at me with her mean look like, "You still mad at me?" And I said, "No." She said, "You're in here working. You're not even worried about it." I said, "No, I don't. I'm not mad. Guys, there's nothing to be mad about. I got a beautiful wife. I got a gorgeous life. A beautiful wife. Well, my life could be better." That's not true. I'm teasing. But I have this great woman. And so why would I stay mad at her? She's not going nowhere. I'm not leaving her. She's not leaving me. So whenever that gives me an opportunity to go do some stuff, get some work done, that I couldn't get done while I was fussing or while she was in my presence. So that's why I did that. Why are you married? When you get those things, when you get those two things, you're 85% there. And I'll teach you how to do it. It's not that hard. It's just tedious. There are more signals to moving in the spirit than they are to moving in religion. I'm telling you. When you really become one with your spiritual person, because the other thing that you have to learn is the difference in being spiritual and different in being God. Just saying. All right, guys. Okay, guys, that was the end of that teaching. There is more teaching on this link down here. I appreciate you guys for staying with me and following me, and I hope that blessed you, help you when it comes to your spiritual walk. So that's it. I'll see you guys on Monday, 10:30 on Instagram. Tuesday, we go back to YouTube. All right. I love you guys. See you later. Yeah, I still got the t-shirt on. I'll see you guys on Monday or tomorrow in the morning. Peace.